Hi, how you doing? If you've been looking for alternative feed for your fishes, you're in the right place. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you about 5 alternative feeds, for your fishes, what you could use to supplement your original feeds. Mind you, it is not the end product, it's not what you're going to use to raise your fishes till maturity. It's going to be what you're going to use sometimes to supplement your original feeds for you to be able to cut down on cost. So people do it, it's feasible. I do it sometimes. So I'm going to tell you all you're going to need to do. I'll tell you the alternative feeds for you to look out for. You may not be able to get all of them, but you could get a few to try to supplement them. Some are very expensive, while some are what you could easily get. So now let's jump into it. Yeah, number one is maggots. I know a lot of people like, yeah, maggots, it's a bit disgusting, so people can't stand it, but it's very rich for your fishes. It's very rich in protein, and that is what your fish, one of the supplements your fish requires to grow big, to grow a whole lot of muscle that will weigh at the end of the day for you to be able to sell them and make good profit. So number one I've talked about is maggots. Maggots, you can get maggots easily. You could get them yourself or you could buy, but I don't know. But if you're getting them yourself, you have to get something that can go rotten, like a dead animal, maybe a dead bird or something like that. Then there's a way it's been processed, then you keep them for a while. Some people I've seen, they just hang the dead animal on top of their pond, and when it gets bad, maybe a dead rat or something, start dropping maggot little by little in the pond. That it's not going to be enough for your fishes, so you have to go grand scale in creating maggots. You have to mix a bit of poultry dung and you mix it with a bit of some fruits. Then you mix with a bit of some dead intestines on some intestines or dead animals. You mix and you leave for like 2 or 3 days. Maggots should be forming under, so you go to harvest the maggots until they are exhausted. Then you can feed it to your fishes. Mind you, the process is very dirty, the process is very irritating, so if you can't stand it, maybe you should try to do it, or maybe you should just let it go and focus on other items we're going to be listing in the subsequent discussion we're going to be making. So maggots, that is the first stage. Yeah, in this second stage, we're going to be talking about chicken intestine. Chicken intestine, that is actually my, I love it. It has a very fast results, on your fishes. But also that is also very messy and smelly. Really messy and smelly. Even the car you're going to use to carry it, it's going to smell. Because the intestine, at the end of the day, what is in there, it's their feces. So that is the idea. You cut into bits. How to get this chicken intestine? You have to actually go register with the people in the market, the ladies, I don't know, people selling chicken in the market, that really sell in bulk. They help customers also kill and dress. So their intestines they're going to remove. So you meet them, you make an arrangement with them. Some they say you should pay. There's some have good heart they give to you, but since the request for it now is now very high, the demand is very high, so what do? They tend to also make money from it. So for them to keep it for you, you have to register with them. It's more like a union now, so you register, then you give them a token, a fee for it, but it shouldn't be too high. You could give them as much as 1,000 naira, some 500 naira, some 1, 2, it's still fair for a big pent rubber, mind you, not a very small quantity. For a big pent rubber, though that's not going to be enough. And there's a trick they use too. I'm going to give you that for free now. They tend to put a whole lot of dirt on that to make it full. So you should always make sure you get the right product. Some, their intestines are very clean, while some, it's very dirty. They pick it from every corner and load it in the rubber for you. So that is just for you to put in your mind. The intestine is very rich. What you do when you bring them to your farm, you cut in bits. It's smelly, it's messy, you're going to get so irritated, but that is what come on, that is business. So you cut in bits, then you rinse, just rinse briefly, add water to it, shake it a bit, turn the water out, then before you could serve it to your fishes. Mind you, when giving it to your fishes, you could spread. I always speak against not spreading your feed because you waste it, but for intestine you could spread, so those who can't really muscle their way into the gathering to eat, those fishes can actually pick it from afar. And you see how excited your fishes are when you feed them with chicken intestine. And mind you, don't feed the day you're going to give them that. That should just be their food. Maybe if you plan, okay, I'm going to give them chicken intestine on Sunday, on that day you don't feed at all. You can delay their feed so they really get hungry and you feed. Why that is done is, if you feed normally in the morning, maybe you want to give them intestine in the evening, they may not be able to eat it, and they may not be able to eat a whole lot of them. Intestine contains a whole lot of fat and oil. The oil is going to amass in your pond and mess your pond seriously. Your fishes are going to die. So what you do, you make sure they starve a bit. You know, if you normally feed them by say 12, you could delay them till like 2 or 3. And this intestine, chicken intestine, are used for only big fishes that are like over 500 kg or 500 grams already. You don't use them to feed your baby fishes. They can't eat it and it's going to kill them. So mind you, it's going to be for fishes that are 500, 600 kg thereabouts. They can easily eat it and cut into bits and swallow and be okay with it. That is that. Now for the third alternative feed, there's something they call blood meal. Blood meal is the blood you get from the slaughter, which is probably the cow blood, you know, the beef they kill, the blood from it, they tend to gather it and they sell it too, because they know farmers need it, they know the demand is high now. So what do? They get that and they sell it, you know. So you could get blood from them in very high quality or high quantity, but make sure that at the end of the day, the blood you're going to get will not be enough. But it's something you could use as an alternative. I think that's why it's been called alternative feed. It's not the main feed. So what you do when you get those blood, you boil them, you cook them a bit so they become stiff. You know, they become like meats or liver kind. You know, at that point you can now cut in bits, and then you let it cool down. You know, it should not be hot. You let it cool down, or you could also administer to your fishes. These are also going to be 500, between 4 to 500 grams of fish. From that point on, you could feed them blood meal. And mind you, the blood meal is rich in protein too, very, very rich, just like the previous listed item, the chicken intestine. It's very rich and it helps to cut cost also. So you could make an arrangement to go to the slaughter, make an arrangement. You will have to likely register, because that's how it's done. You likely register, then they will be collected and they keep for you. Then you go to pick it up and you administer to your fishes. And also for the next stage, there's something that is called BSF, black soldier fly. That is what is also used to feed your fishes. They are used as an alternative feed for your fishes. Some people go a long way to even rear as much, to even use this as a complete feed, but I don't know how profitable that would be, because everything has to be in moderation and everything has to be done right. You know, there's something they call balanced diet. You can just, you as a human cannot continue to eat protein and believe you will be all right. You need carbohydrate, you need a whole lot of other things. You know, so people use black soldier fly, which is BSF, to also feed. A dry BSF contains as much as 50% crude protein. Wow, that is huge, 50%. Because if you check your normal feed, your regular feed you use, some are 45%, some are 30%. This contains 50% of crude protein and up to 35% lipid, and have amino acid that is similar to fish meal. So BSF is another good alternative source of feed for your fishes. Different, and they look more like maggots, but they are way different, and they are very rich also, as maggot is also rich in protein. If you've not smashed the like button and if you've not left a comment, man, you should go do that now. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so we could promote this channel together for people to be able to give you more concrete and more important information about fish farming, poultry, about investment generally. So let's jump into the last page. Now for the last, which is probably the least actually, it's bread. People use bread to feed their fishes. Now how they get that bread, you cannot just go to the market and buy regular bread for your fishes, it's going to be too expensive. So what they do is they go to the poultry, they go to the bakery, they make an arrangement with the bakery owner. What the bakery owner does is it gives you pieces of breads that are cut from the original size that they make, maybe some waste that they gather in a place where they are supposed to throw it away, but they're likely going to charge you too, since they know it's valuable to you. So what they do is they collect those bread for you and they keep it, and you go to pick it up. You also cut in bits, but most likely they're already in bits, so you just administer to your fishes. Now, mind you, the disadvantage of such is that some of those bread are already growing fungi. So what that does is, if not checked and administered right, your fishes are going to develop a disease. A fungal bacteria is going to come into them and it's going to cause you serious problems too. So everything is supposed to be done in moderation. Everything is supposed to be done well. You're supposed to be observant. You're supposed to look at the bread you're giving to them. Same with the chicken intestine, same with a whole lot of things we've listed before. You just have to be careful. Then you look at how it's being administered, so you don't end up over polluting your water, because that is where they get their oxygen from, and that is what's going to help them break down the food. So guys, we've come to the end of today's show. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to check the name that's going to pop up on the screen after this show, so you could always follow up previous and to know how we've come and where we're going to go next. Have a nice